Hello, this is part 2 of Dr. Savage's book, Trickle Up Poverty. I'm reading the author's note. I tell you, this is a really good book, so I'm reading it onto video. Alright. Obama wanted you to believe the stimulus money would be used to head off another depression by creating millions of new jobs. Weeks before taking office, President Obama started campaigning for his bloated stimulus measure, which he claimed would, quote, save or create 3 to 4 million jobs, unquote. What does he know about the topic? Is he a businessman? Has he ever owned a pizza shop or had to meet the payroll of a corporation of any size? Answer, no. What does he know about job creation? Nothing. In spite of his lack of experience or knowledge on the subject of job creation, Obama projected, quote, 90% of these jobs will be created in the private sector. Remaining 10% are mainly public sector jobs we save, like the teachers, police officers, firefighters, and others who provide vital services in our communities. It sounded good on paper, but he's wrong. He hasn't created new jobs. The opposite is true. Just look at where we are 1 year after rushing through the passage of the $819 billion Porculus bill. Rather than alleviate the plight of the millions of Americans, we're witnessing record levels of unemployed people on welfare or receiving unemployment benefits. Those are the facts, as the Washington Times story entitled, quote, American reliance on government at all-time high reports, quote, the so-called Great Recession, unquote, has left Americans depending on the government dole like never before. Moreover, for the first time since the Great Depression, Americans took more aid from the government than they paid in taxes, unquote. The middle class is getting poorer, not richer. I'd like to chalk up this disturbing trend as nothing more than ineptness on his part. It's not, let's be clear, quote, let's be clear. The trickle of poverty and the meltdown of our economy is quite by design. More on that in the next chapter. The sooner you accept that fact, the greater the chance we have of saving this country. You see, Obama is trying to pass a systematic revolution in the United States of America. What do I mean by that? He is shrinking the middle class in order to create the socialist utopia of a two-class society. The ruling elite, meaning the bureaucracies, and the workers. In other words, President Robin Hood has orchestrated an elaborate Ponzi scheme to scam the middle class. You've been taken. You've been taken. In spite of his speeches about looking out for the little guy, you are not the targeted beneficiary of his actions. He's just playing another game of two-card Monty. Forget what he's told you. It's all fraudulent. As I've already said, quote, follow the money, unquote. Tell me, where has Obama's stimulus money gone? Did you get any of it? So again, where is the money going? I'll explore the answer in greater detail in a subsequent chapter, but in short, he's taking money from the middle class to give to his progressive cronies, big businesses, and the cabal of special interest groups who put Obama in power. Oh, sure, he's, quote, spreading the wealth around, unquote, just not in the way you originally thought. The question remains, if he's not Robin Hood, who is he? Barack Obama is a reverse Robin Hood, a modern twist on the mythical character, packaged and sold to the sheeple he is exploiting. Make no mistake about it. Unlike previous presidents who consulted with Congress, seeking its cooperation to implement new initiatives, this president operates as he wishes, as if his wishes are the law of the land. As you'll see in this book, Barack Obama uses his means necessary, including circumventing the Constitution, to get his way. Why? He's living in a dream world, acting as if his wishes are the sole determinant for the future of America. Do these words sound extreme to modern ears? Perhaps. But then again, I have a bias. I was born in another time and come from another generation. I come from a time in our history where all politicians, regardless of their political stripe, drew a line in the sand when it came to issues of national security. None of them intentionally engaged in policies that would leave the country naked and vulnerable to those who would harm us. If they did advance such views, they either remained unelected or were thrown out of office. What a difference. What a different world it is today. So much has happened in just 2 generations. America has gone from Eisenhower to Obama in 2 generations, from Ben Casey to Nurse Jackie in 2 generations, from mutual assured destruction to assured national destruction in 2 generations, from John Wayne to Lady Gaga in 2 generations, from I Spy to I Cry in 2 generations, from I Love Lucy to I Love Loosely, from Einstein to Al Gore, from I Have a Dream to I Have a Scheme, from Catching the Ride to Catch Up on the Fly, from starlets to harlots, preachers to breachers, athletes to sexlets, Boy Scouts to Toy Scouts, Girl Scouts to Twirl Scouts, from LSD to ADD, cardigans to partikins, from aspirin to Oxycontin, from Lady Jane to Let's Get Insane, from science to lions, from acorn tree to acorn the spree, from lassie to sassy, from religion to pigeons, from eons to peons, from Baptists to offenders, from cap and gowns to cap and trade, from stackball to speedball, from stickball to speedballs. In 2 generations, that's the story of America the Great. To America that greats. I wrote Trickle Up Poverty for those who voted against Barack Obama and those abominaniacs who voted for Obama now realize they were tricked and fear where he's taking America in the generations ahead. I clearly blame the Republican Party for Obama's ascension to power. They had every opportunity during the campaign to stop Obama, but every time they had the chance, John McCain either refused to do so or outright shot himself in the foot. Let me give you an example. One day of the last presidential debate, I went on the air and said the following, quote, John McCain, your handlers refuse to let you come on my show. They told you that you should not speak to the savage nation. They told you that we are not your audience. They told you that my vast audience with undecided voters didn't matter, and you listened to them. Even though you wouldn't speak to my audience, I will give you one line that you could use to defeat Senator Obama during tonight's final debate. Here's what you do. Listen to Mr. Obama present his policies, smile as he talks in Reagan-esque way, and then say, Senator Obama, that all sounds very nice, but we've heard this before. What you're proposing is trickle up poverty. That would have been the end of it. John McCain could have defeated Obama with that one line if he had introduced it that night, and then hammered it home right up to the election. But his handlers, who, in my opinion, were stealth Democrats, didn't want him to win the election. Why? Because the Republicans had raped Lady Liberty for the previous 8 years. We all know the way this game is played. The Republican establishment knew they had to give the power to a Democrat in order to take the spotlight off of their own failures and excesses. No matter how dangerous Obama might be once in power, they knew they had wrecked things so badly by running up the largest deficit in history and expanding the size of government, all under George Bush, They reasoned, well, they reasoned, let's give it to a Democrat so the country can blame him for the worst 4 years in American history. And then we'll come back triumphant with another Republican who will continue to hoodwink the sheeple. That is how the establishment party system works. Which begs the question, are either of them the American party? Do they stand for the American people? Do they represent the will of the people? Do they have America's best interests at heart? Answer, no. Thankfully, there is a third party emerging, the American Party. You know it's the Tea Party. You know it as the Tea Party. Granted, it's in its infancy, but it has a shape now. It's a thriving embryo. I'll continue with part 3 coming up.